Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I want to do a video on the top guns that I conceal carry, as in which guns do I carry most often, how do I carry them, why do I carry this gun over that gun, and in what situations, that sort of thing. Before I get started, all of the guns I'm going to show you are hot, ready to go, round in the chamber, all that good stuff. Just so you're aware, I'm still going to be safe with them as if they were unloaded, of course, but I want to let you guys know that. So I'll start out, the gun that I probably carry the least often out of this group, it's probably gonna surprise some of you guys. It's actually my Glock 43. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, the Glock 43 is a single stack 9mm semi-automatic handgun, striker fired. Pretty sure most of you probably know what a Glock 43 is. I do like a lot of things about this gun. There are some things I don't like about it. So let's just go ahead and kind of talk about that now. Why is this the least common gun to find me carrying? Well, number one for me is going to be the sights. The plastic box dot, as I call it, setup of sights. I'm not a big fan of those sights. For one, they're made of plastic. I don't like that. Now, yes, I can change those out, and I probably will change them out at some point for metal 3-dot night sights, which is, if you haven't been watching my other videos, my preferred sight arrangement for a handgun. But there's some other things about this gun that have kind of made me not invest a lot of money in it at this point. The trigger, for one, out of box, it's not a terrible trigger, but it's not really a good trigger. It's very heavy. The wall feels like it feels like you're breaking a stick with your finger. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's a very heavy walled trigger. And for a small, lightweight gun, that heavy trigger means I'm really gonna have to focus on my fundamentals to be accurate with it. Now, yes, I should always be focusing on my fundamentals. Cool, got it. But if I'm in a defensive situation, somebody's threatening me, threatening my wife, you know, I'm trying to keep good people safe, my fundamentals may not be the first thing on my mind. And with adrenaline going and, you know, having to make split-second decisions, I'm probably not going to get the best trigger pull in the world out of the gun. So that kind of steers me away from this gun in a lot of instances, just because of the trigger. Although it is still a great gun, it's very reliable. I've never had a malfunction with it that I can remember. I have other guns I would rather carry. Also, one of my personal weirdnesses is that I like to carry bigger guns. You guys, if you've watched some other videos, you've seen other guns that I do carry, and you'll see some other bigger guns on the table here in a minute. But for me, a smaller gun like this is going to be relegated more to, you know, if I'm wearing workout clothes, or I'm wearing, let's say, nice, you know, business type attire, where something's going to be more likely to print, or the extra weight would cause the outfit to be uncomfortable or to just plain not work, then I would go with something smaller like the Glock 43. Another thing I don't like about this gun is that it's a 6-round factory magazine. Whether you get the pinky extension version or not, it's only 6 rounds in the mag. And the competitors out there are all doing 7+1. So I'm losing a round over some of the other options by carrying this gun. So just little things like that. I do still carry it, just not very often. It is a great gun. I would trust my life to it for sure. I just have some other options I like to carry more. So, and I carry it in this Blade Tech Clipped, that's K-L-I-P-T. Those of you who've never heard of it, holster, just a inexpensive, it's not Kydex, but it's Kydex adjacent, if you will, material. I carry it appendix style with this single clip here in the front, and it's actually a really good holster. I have several of these for a bunch of different guns because they're fairly affordable. They're not, I mean, obviously I couldn't put a light on this like a TLR6 or something and then carry it, but it's great for what it is for the stock factory gun. Inexpensive option, lightweight, very comfortable. I recommend these holsters for sure. Next gun, I probably carry this one a little more often, and a lot of you guys are going to be surprised that this is carried more often than the Glock 43, But this is my Springfield XDS in 9mm. I carry this more often, even though it's a heavier gun, because, well, there's a few reasons. One, I like the trigger on it better than the 43. Now, I think a standard full-size Glock, double stack Glock, like the 26, the 19, whatever, I think they have better triggers than the XDS does. The XDS can be a little stagey. Here, I'll just go ahead and clear it out and pull the trigger on camera, so get that round to stay. Cool. So, little stagey, little creep in the wall, but it's smooth. Reset, a little long, and then of course that creepy feeling in the wall, but it's a really smooth trigger, and it's really easy for me to hit well with this gun. I've knocked the centers out of clay pigeons on a berm at 50 meters with this gun before. Maybe not every shot, but more often than I thought I was going to. So for a small gun like this and my skill level, that's pretty impressive to me. It's a well-made gun. I will say from the factory, and again, I'm not flagging myself, it does have better sights. It's got, here, I'll put it on the Alabama flag so you guys can see that a little better. And there we go. Doing this through the viewfinder is not easy. But you've got the two white dots in the back and then the fiber optic front up here. I'm not a big fan of fiber optic sights. I think they're a little too fragile for my taste. A lot of people like them because you can get a finer front sight and you can make more precise shots. But I don't know, I like night sights. However, these are made out of metal, and I've never had them budge on me or anything like that. The fiber optic filament here is never broken on me with this gun. So the other nice thing about that is if you're carrying in a decent holster, your holster is protecting that sight. So that's a little bit of added protection for your sight. But yeah, I carry this more often, and it's kind of the same situations. You know, if I need to, I'm in workout clothes, or like when I go to my Krav Maga class, we wear black t-shirts and black tactical pants. So even though I'm wearing 5'11" tactical pants, which are good pants, and I'm wearing a decent belt, because my pants will, you know, if you've ever worn the 5'11" pants, you know, they have that elastic in the waistband. I don't really want to get pants in the middle of class while I'm trying to kick somebody. Probably not the best idea in the world. So I wear a belt, long story short. And even though I'm wearing, you know, decent pants, decent belt, I don't want to carry something too big typically because I'm wearing a t-shirt. It's that dry wick type material of the shirts that we have for the class. So I don't really want it to print super bad, especially if I leave class and hey, the wife calls me, stop at Walmart and get this thing, or I gotta stop and get dip because, you know, I have a bad habit, something like that. I'm gonna walk around in public. I'm already wearing solid black at night. May not look like the most reputable person in the world. I don't want my, you know, waistline to scream gun because I'm printing. So something in this size category would fit into that fairly nicely, and that's usually when I carry this gun, is on my way to and from my martial arts class. Load back up real quick so I don't forget later. And I carry it, just like the other one, appendix and a Blade Tech clipped holster. This one, for whatever reason, has a different texture than all my other ones do. Maybe it's just because it's an older model, I don't really know. But this was my first experience with the clipped line of holsters, and I really like them, so I've gotten them for several other guns. But that's pretty much that and the stock factory holster that this comes with in the box, the little paddle thing with like no retention on it whatsoever. I'll use that. It's an outside the waistband holster. I'll use that occasionally around the house if I'm just, you know, sitting watching TV or doing something else. I would not recommend that holster for open or concealed carry out in public. I feel like that gun could just pop out if I started running really fast. So take that for what it's worth. It's an option that I'll use just around the house doing very mild stuff because it's comfortable, it's easy, and I have a gun on me. But I wouldn't use it anywhere else or doing anything else. Sorry guys, had some technical difficulties there. The next gun in line that I carry next most or less often, depending on how you look at it, is going to be my CZ P10C. And yeah, pretty significant size difference, right, between like the 43 and the P10C. But like I said earlier, I like to carry bigger guns. And I like this gun because it's accurate, it's easy to shoot, very mild recoiling because it has such a low bore axis, 15 rounds in the magazine plus 1 in the chamber. All the things I said about it in my review. I've done a review of this gun, so if you guys are interested in seeing more about just this gun, I'll put a link down below, or I'll put it in one of those little boxes at the end of the video or something so you guys can go check it out. But yeah, I really like this gun. Now, like I said in my review, it shoots a couple inches low for me, but that's something I can compensate for, especially, you know, with training and things like that. And at typical self-defense distances, a couple inches isn't gonna matter. Now, that's not to say that if I had to take that one shot, you know, somebody's poking around cover and all I can see is their head, that I don't need to adjust for that. But, you know, take it for what it's worth. It's not my everyday quote unquote carry gun. It's just a gun that I like to carry a lot because of all the great things it has going for it. Metal 3-dot sights, although they're not night sights on this version. Great trigger, amazing trigger out of box. I feel like I'm just kind of rehashing my review of this gun. It's a great gun. I like it. I like to carry it. I'll actually carry this a lot to my Krav class as well, because even though it's bigger, it's small enough, especially without a light or anything on it, that it doesn't really print that much. It prints a little bit under my t-shirt, but it's not super noticeable, especially because it's a black t-shirt, and black is very slimming, and us fat boys kind of like that, right? Sorry guys, I suck at jokes. I never said I was funny, I just said I try to be funny. Anyway, it conceals well enough for me. Most people aren't going to pay attention and notice anyway, and the ones that do probably know enough to not really like say anything or cause any trouble, because you're probably just some dude going about his business carrying a gun legally. So anyway, I carry this one in a clipped holster as well, but this clipped holster is actually for a Glock 19. So you guys may be able to see that there if I get the glare just right on the camera. This is a Glock 19 holster, and it fits pretty well. Not amazingly, but pretty well. I do want to do a lot of things to this gun in the future. I'd like to, I bought it before they came out with the optics ready model, stupid me, but I'd like to get it milled for an optic, get some different suppressor height sights on it, put a light on it, all that stuff, and then this holster won't be useful to me at that point for this gun. Although I do have a Glock 19, I have a weapon light on it, so I just I bought it because it was inexpensive and it works for the gun. Now, when I insert the gun in the holster, watch what happens though. Watch the slide. See how it brings it out of battery just a little bit there at the back? I'll show you guys so you can see there. So that is one thing I had to pay attention to with this holster. Even though it does fit the gun, it's not a perfect fit. So what I ended up doing, just putting my thumb on the back of the slide as I holstered the gun to keep it in battery, and then just visibly check it to make sure it's in battery after I get it in there. If you go to draw it, it's gonna bring it back into battery for you anyway. That's another thing about this holster. Even though it fits, I do have to really yank it out of the holster. But I think that's actually kind of a good thing, because that makes sure that it's not just gonna come out as I'm doing whatever. I mean, it's really in there. The bad thing is if I go to grab it and I don't get a really good grip and I pull, my hand's probably just gonna come off the gun, and so I have to make sure I get a really good draw with this holster. But it does work. Now, the gun I carry next most often is gonna be my Smith & Wesson M&P N9. You're noticing a trend? I like 9mm. And this kind of did jump back down a size from the last one, but the reason I carry this one more often than that one is because it's not as heavy as the XDS. It's got a better trigger and better sights than the Glock 43. I can carry spare 8-round magazines for this, whereas I have just the 6-rounders for the Glock. Now we're talking factory magazines. I know you can get extensions and ETS group mags and all that stuff, but Factory magazines are going to be the most reliable, and even though I like other brands of magazines besides just OEM, I've heard mixed things about some of those magazines, and I haven't really gotten any to test yet. Maybe one of these days I will, but anyway, back to this gun. It shoots really well, it's very comfortable. It's got a pretty good trigger on it. I wouldn't say it's the best trigger in the world, it's definitely better than the 43. I mean, this is one of the most popular carry handguns in the country, if not the world, for a reason. It's because Smith & Wesson knows what they're doing. It's a very ergonomic feeling gun. They make good guns, and it shows in this gun. So yeah, not a whole lot to say about that. I like the gun. And gotta really smack that magazine. I use a Blade Tech clipped holster for this as well. I carry all of these appendix, by the way. You guys are probably like, what the hell, man? Are you like paid by Blade Tech or something? No, I'm not. I mean, if Blade Tech wants to start sending me products to review and stuff, that'd be cool, but at this point I have no affiliation with them. I just like those holsters, especially for the price. I have found them on sale for $10 or less at certain places at certain times. So you just kind of look around and find them. They're great quality holsters, they're comfortable, they're good for the money. Now, the next gun I'm going to show you is actually going to be kind of a 2-for-1 kind of deal. And the reason for that is I kind of use these interchangeably, or sometimes I'll even carry both of them. It just depends on, you know, what mood am I in that day. So it's going to be my Glock 17 and the one I'm carrying right now, my Glock 19. So granddaddy and daddy, or big brother, little brother, whatever you want to say. I've got the Glock 26 too, but I don't see it as interchangeable as these two, because I can put the same light on these two and use the same holster, even though it's made for the Glock 17, it'll fit the Glock 19. The 26 doesn't have a rail on it, so you can't do that. But I like these guns because, well, a lot of reasons. One, they're stupid reliable. The only malfunctions I've ever had in these guns have been with California freaking terrible, sorry, I'm having a moment of anger here, 10-round Glock magazines, because they're stupid. They take a double stack magazine and turn it into a single stack magazine so that you can only put 10 rounds in it. It's retarded. And those things will give me failures to feed, failures to lock open, whatever. I got rid of them when I moved because they're useless. I can't stand that crap. But with good, even the Magpul magazines, I've never had any malfunctions in either of these guns. So I know they're reliable. The aftermarket support is huge for Glocks. You guys already know that. If you are into Glocks or whatever. They're ugly as sin, but they're not too expensive. And if I do have to use the gun in a self-defense situation and it gets put into evidence lockup for however long it takes for them to figure out that I was just defending myself, I'm not out $1,000 SIG or something. You know, I'm not gonna cry too hard about it. I'll just come home, go to the safe, grab the other one and put it in the same holster. You know, you can carry 17-round magazines with extensions on them. Magpul and I think ETS both make, I know Magpul makes like a 21-round mag, 27-round mag. You can carry the Happy Sticks in a bag or in your truck or something if you wanted to, just for the extra firepower. So lots of options for these guns, and those are the ones, particularly the 19 over the 17, I'd say, are the ones that I carry the most often. They just have a lot going for them. I think they're great guns. And more technical difficulties. Apparently, my phone won't let me record more than 10 minutes of video at a time before it resets. So I have to keep that in mind for future videos until I get a real camera. Anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, guys. I wanted to tell you what I carry most often, and I do have other carry guns, and you know, that I will sometimes carry. You know, I have a Glock 42 in 380 and some other little guns that I'll carry sometimes, but most of the time it's these 5, 6-ish you just saw here on the table. So that's it. Wanted to tell you guys my philosophy on what I carry, when, and why. So if you guys have different answers to this question, I mean, everybody's gonna be different, right? You know, your body type, your daily activity, the state you live in, you know, whatever you do is going to affect what you decide to carry and what you don't. So if you guys have a different solution, please post it down in the comments below. Maybe you'll tell me something I didn't think about, or a product I've never heard of that I'd be interested in checking out. Thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Y'all take it easy, roll tide, and I'll see you later.